Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes. This is the podcast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers, the astrology and numerology. And in this case, we are going to check into a grand topic, one that is quite extraordinary because it is really helping to usher in the new beginnings of the Aquarian age. And while the sun is still at the end of Aquarius, it's a good time to initiate the first really in-depth video of what is coming, the changes that are coming. Things are going to be shifted massively this year by so many slow-moving outer planets changing signs within such a short period of time. Now, as you know, we had Pluto move into Aquarius for 20 years back on November 19th of last year. And I will go into that in a moment. Following Pluto will be Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter, moving all to 0 degrees of a new sign within a very short period between the end of March and early July. And in fact, Neptune and Saturn are both leaving Neptune sign of Pisces at the same time and moving into Aries, 0 degrees Aries. And when I say the same time, it's within a few weeks of each other, which is extraordinary because Saturn has a approximately 29 year cycle through the zodiac, and Neptune's is 150 some years through the zodiac. So this is really quite extraordinary that they're both coming together. In fact, that has not happened where both planets enter Aries at the same time in 12,000 years. So that's just one little tidbit of how extraordinary these times are, or this year is as well. So we're in wild times, and Pluto entered Aquarius in November, and Pluto in Aquarius is all about people power, where Pluto represents the power, Aquarius represents the people, so people having power. Whereas Pluto in Capricorn, which is the era we just left, represents change and power of the powers that be, the governments, the corporations, the academia, the whatever is in power. It gives the sense of being able to actually use your own power to create some really grand visions. Now, Aquarius is all about the collective, the people coming together. And when Pluto is in Aquarius, it really shifts things in, well, not always in an easy way, but inevitably in a transformational way for the collective. So to give you a historical perspective on this shift, when Pluto was at the very end of Capricorn 250 years ago, which we just finished in November, we had the Declaration of Independence in 1776. And then Pluto moved into Aquarius between 1778 and 1798. That was the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. And we had the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, a creation of a government for the people. At the same time, France had the French Revolution, which was bloody and difficult and not as easy, but it had the same theme in the end, to celebrate the collective of that country. So there is a sense of enlightenment that can come when Pluto is in Aquarius. And I'm going to go into the other planets in a moment that are all changing. But Pluto really is the key in this sense because it's the slowest moving of all of them, and it represents power, transformation, life, death, rebirth. So enlightenment actually means to be able to see into the future and to have the wisdom to see how your thoughts, feelings, and actions impact your future. So what we put in place now, how it will impact the next generations, for example, or if you run a business, how the big decisions might impact the direction of your business, etc. So this is what Pluto in Aquarius can offer us over the next 20 years. And Aquarius represents freedom. It's the disrupting sign. So it literally allows you to break free, to create breakthroughs, to feel free, and to innovate and discover and go on an adventure and reach areas that you would have never before imagined. So freedom is really one of the key words of the next 20 years, that through the power that we feel internally, we create this self-fulfillment, which is what freedom is. When we're able to fulfill our light, we feel free. So it's not about money. Money does not equal freedom. And people think that having money gives you the freedom to travel and all that. That's a different kind of freedom. That is not the internal freedom that is meant. It is coming from doing the work you were meant to do, from truly expressing yourself as yourself. That is true freedom. And if we get sidetracked from doing that, and we're finding solutions that are not aligned with what we're here destined to fulfill, then we come trapped in that cycle. So there is a sense too of discovering what true freedom is during this time. How do we feel most empowered from the light within? Not getting power over others or feeling powerful in comparison or anything like that. And all the astrological placements right now are boosting you with that inner knowledge, with insights. When all these slow-moving planets move to 0 degrees, the 0 point, we have incredible visions. We go beyond the horizon with our ability to see, to have that enlightenment, to be able to see into the future, which is truly what enlightenment is. The wisdom, the joy, the unbelievable intelligence of the heart. So the astrological movements now are boosting that. And it's just what we need, and it's just in time. And I'm sure you know what I mean by that. So let's look at the planets. I'm going to start with Mars. Mars is actually not a slow-moving planet. It takes 2 years to move around the zodiac. However, Mars has been in a very long pattern of being in Cancer and Leo for 7 months. And usually Mars is in a sign for 6 weeks. And the reason is that Mars retrograded. On September 1, Mars entered Cancer. That was in 2024. And then December 6th, 7th, Mars retrograded in Leo, and so is now back in Cancer and will be there until the end of April when Mars enters 0 degrees Leo. So Mars is part of this as well. So Mars is like a trigger. Mars acts like an activator. It is a fiery, passionate, go one direction planet. Jupiter, which is a slow-moving planet, and Jupiter will move from Gemini into Cancer on June 9th. Jupiter is the expander, and Jupiter is currently in Gemini. And in Gemini, Jupiter expands how we are thinking. It expands our ideas. Saturn is the teacher, the Lord of Karma. Saturn is currently in Pisces, where it has been literally creating a dissolution of the ego in Pisces. And so Saturn will be moving into Aries at the end of April. And as the teacher, Saturn in Aries will bring new teachings. Aries is the first sign. It'll start a new cycle. And this cycle will teach us about self-reliance, where we rely on ourselves and not on the external, which is definitely a great need. And then Uranus, which moves from Taurus into Gemini in early July, is the revolutionary, the revolter, the innovator, the bringer of new ideas, breakthrough planet. Uranus rules Aquarius, and Uranus is moving into Gemini. And so while Jupiter leaves Gemini, Uranus moves in. There's going to be a huge emphasis on air, on fast thinking, fast travel, fast innovation. Uranus will revolutionize how we think about things, especially because Neptune, which is moving from its own sign Pisces into Aries at the end of March, early April, Neptune is the planet of love, of creation, imagination, also illusion, dreams, intuition, inner knowing, psychic awareness, universal love, romance, spiritual love. Neptune will be in Mars' sign of Aries for a long time. And so going back to what I mentioned earlier, Saturn conjunct Neptune as they both enter Aries this spring in March, April, that last happened 12,000 years ago. So this is a huge year of new beginnings because that's what conjunctions are. Conjunctions create a new beginning. It's when planets come together in the same point in the zodiac and they start a cycle again. And Saturn conjunct Neptune in the first sign, which hasn't happened in 12,000 years, represents a major, major beginning. And it really does show that the Aquarian age is on its way. It's here. 2025 is a 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. And 2025 is a universal year of 9. 7 and 9 are very unique numbers, where 7 is about inspiration, bringing heaven to earth, intuition. It's very much a number of being on your own and in solitude, in serenity with nature, bringing heaven to earth through inspiration. And 9 is the number of unconditional love and endings and culminations and ultimate wisdom. And when they come together like this, 7 and 9, they tend to bring opportunities, which sometimes are crises, where the things that we've counted on to validate who we are removed, so that we can stand there without the support that we initially relied on. And things are stripped, things are ended, things are shifted, removed, so that we can now actually activate from within through listening, through becoming awake. So it is like the first year of the new big long cycle that we're in this year, because of all these changes of these slow moving planets, with an ending number for the numerology, and then the 25/7, which truly is the number of inspiration, where 2 is the listening, it's you and the divine, you and the other, like the number 11 reduces to 2. And the 5 is the shift. It's any direction goes. So we have to constantly be alert, because we can move left, we can move right. 5 sits on a rocker. It is not stable. So we have to be alert, because the instability of these two numbers, 7 and 9, means that things are just rapidly shifting along with the astrology message. So this is like no other year in so many levels. Everything is about to change. And because we've lived in this unnatural state of being separate individuals, right, where we're dividing ourselves instead of just being unique and expressing ourselves, and that really doesn't make sense to live this way. It's not natural. And because we've been living like this for so long, it's all these forces are coming together, these celestial, universal, galactic forces in the stars and numbers to propel us forward. So these are remarkable times. This is a remarkable year of so much change and new beginnings. It will bring up you wanting to make changes as well, including possibly traveling to new places or even moving to a new place. Living in a positive environment that supports you at that soul level, to support your light. And if you are considering traveling or moving, either locally or internationally, to a brand new area, first, it's really important to know whether the location that you're going to is a positive one for you personally, or if it is going to bring challenging, stressful energy to your life. I'm sure you've noticed you feel better in certain locations where you're just more relaxed than other places. And so I have a free masterclass for you where you can really discover the power of astrocartography, which teaches you the most fortunate places to live. Go to positivelocations.com to watch The Power of Fortunate Places. It's free, and we look at the 5 critical components that make up your astrocartography chart, which is your astrology birth chart superimposed onto the world map. We look at several celebrity astrocartography examples. We look at the important common mistake that so many people make when they look up their astrocartography chart online. So you can look up these maps, right? But they don't give you all the info you need. There are several lines that are not being shown. So you may be moving or traveling somewhere that actually may not be so good. So we cover that. We cover relocated charts, which are your birth chart relocated to the new location. And so much more is covered in this free masterclass. So get instant access at positivelocations.com. Have a lovely, lovely week, and I will see you in next week's Star Codes podcast. Lots of love.